Um, Paramapujya Swami Chinmayananda lived with Tapovan Maharaj in Rishikesh, Uttarkashi and Gangotri, moving between the three holy places according to the vagaries of the climate in various months of the year. He had to bathe in the icy Ganges twice a day, eat whatever food came his way as alms, often too little and tasteless, do chores related to the care of his teacher and the ashram, including carrying pails of water up the hill to the hermitage, preparing and serving food and tea to his guru, study long hours and sleep very little. His love for his teacher and the scriptures gave him the strength to live in such harsh conditions. He learnt a lot, not only from his guru's words and teachings, but also from his way of life, his loving manner with devotees who came to visit him, his deep joy in being one with the nature, his chaste habits, his humility despite his profound scholarship, and his constant bliss in the thought of the Lord. In the midst of his life with Swami Tapovanam, Swami Chinmayananda briefly visited his hometown in Kerala to see his old and ailing father. The reunion with his family after 10 years of separation was warm and touching. It took his father a while to accept that this tall, thin, ochre-robed sannyasi with blazing eyes prostrating himself before him was his son. But seeing that he had not lost his old cheerful and jocular ways and his affectionate manner, the family soon surrounded him, talking and laughing as if he had never left them. Swamiji toured the temples of Kerala, delivering lectures and meeting the eminent religious figures of the area. When he took leave of his family, they bade him farewell, pained by his departure, but equally proud and honored that he had become a profound thinker and had found his calling in such a remarkable manner. Submit and learn. Submit to the feet of your master and render yourself receptive. Submit to the will of the Lord and draw a lesson from every event. Submit to the grandeur of nature and listen to every silent message. The inspiration. Faith is a belief in what I do not know. Faith is a belief in what I do not know now, so that I may soon enough come to know what I believe in. Swami Chinmayananda studied Vedanta under Swami Tapovanam in the austere spiritual tradition of Vedic India. His routine continued to be filled with classes, studies, hermitage duties, and spiritual practices. His day began at 3 o'clock in the morning with an icy bath in the Ganges and sometimes ended late in the night after hours of meditation by the river. He learned how the scriptures taught man to live life fully, to find permanent peace, and to reach God. He also learned that Vedanta was not for a better future life or for heaven after death. It was designed to give man the knowledge and strength to find love and peace in the present, even while immersed in family commitments, having a career, social duties, and responsibilities. You did not have to die to get somewhere, to attain a blessed state. Freedom was possible here and now. In later years, Swamiji once came across a message scribbled in coal on a wall: God is nowhere. Swamiji looked at it thoughtfully. Smiling, he took out a pencil and drew a comma between the W and the H in the word now here. Swamiji gained the conviction that if a system of religion or philosophy is not useful for people in their daily lives, it has no practical or social worth. Under the teacher, he learned that Hinduism was ideally suited to modern day society where people had money and comforts, but rarely happiness and peace. Slowly but surely, a novel idea took root in him. He had lived in and seen the falsity and tensions of modern day living. He knew that people yearned for something to give them peace and strength in their lives. To Swamiji, religion seemed to be the perfect answer. The Bhagavad Gita is renowned the world over as the advice offered by Lord Krishna to the Prince Arjun in the middle of a battlefield, just as the great Kurukshetra war was about to begin. It was not taught in a cave in the Himalayan quiet or in a temple. Arjun was an ambitious, proud, restless, daring warrior, not a calm, ochre clad, or a scholarly student of philosophy. This in itself conveyed to Swami Chinmayananda that the message of the Bhagavad Gita was the answer to all the tension, hatred, discontentment, and sorrow in the lives of people caught in what can only be called the battle of life. He could see that there were thousands of Arjuns in society who were in need of a modern day Krishna to teach them the Gita in a new and practical way. Some inner urge kept telling the young sannyasi that he could do it. Below, standing in the sacred waters of the Ganga, on her banks, Swami Chinmayananda reached the turning point in his extraordinary spiritual journey. Even a casual suggestion about his this brought a frown to Swami Tapovan's face. He believed that religion was not for everyone but only for those who intensely yearned for it and came to a teacher. Here was a teacher who wanted to go to his students. Initially, Swami Tapovanam did not encourage Swami Chinmayananda, but a young Swami's heart was filled with love for the millions of his fellow countrymen and women. He felt that giving them this new vision to bring light into their grey lives was more important than his own spiritual fulfillment in the calm higher realms of the Himalayas. Finally, it was Mother Ganges who gifted Swami Chinmayananda the moment of inspiration he needed. One day, as he sat by the banks of the Ganges, watching her majestic flow from the snowy peaks, he suddenly seemed to hear her through the roaring waters. Son, don't you see me? Born here in the Himalayas, I rushed down to the plains, taking with me both life and nourishment to all in my path. Fulfillment of my possession is in fulfillment of any possession is in sharing it with others. Swamiji was filled with ecstasy. The purpose of his birth was revealed to him with intense clarity. He knew what he had to do. At the first step, his teacher asked him to travel to various parts of India as a mendicant. He wanted his student to face the hardships of life in society as a monk, facing hunger and even worse, public insult and mockery. Swami Chinmayananda willingly undertook this exercise in May 1951. He faced a plethora of problems with accommodation, food, and people, some understanding and some hostile, during this trip. But his love for people finally won over all other considerations. Seeing his determination, Tapovan Maharaj relented, blessed him, and wished him all success in his gigantic and glorious mission. A successful man is one who can lay a firm foundation with the bricks that others throw at him. The mission begins. Love is something to be sustained and fulfilled. By loving, by loving alone can love be made to grow and thrive. Swami Chinmayananda's grand mission aimed at the revival of spiritual values and moral living among his countrymen and women. After centuries of foreign rule, Indians were in danger of losing the ability to appreciate the essence of their religion, unable to understand its philosophy and culture, the culture and literature of their one time rulers had gained such importance that Indian national pride had reached an all time low. We had even begun to look down upon ourselves. Swamiji aimed at inspiring the educated urban population of India with the beauty and depth of Hindu scriptural teachings. He dreamed of raising the pride of Indians in their ancient and glorious culture. As in the case of most endeavors, Swamiji received opposition from several quarters. Many businessmen warned him that it was not a good time to start a spiritual renaissance in India when independent India, a young country, was already in a political and economic crisis. As even an even stronger voice of opposition came from the Brahmin community. Till then, spiritual studies had been the exclusive preserve of the Brahmins. It upset them that a bold young Swami could even attempt to make available the powerful and sacred teaching to the public. It further shocked them that he was going to interpret the sacred Sanskrit scriptures in English, a foreign language. About photo, the first step in the Gita Jnana Yajna, a modern style of interpreting the scriptures that would garner kudos the world over. However, Swami Chinmayananda was firm and clear in his lofty dream of spirituality, uplifting the people of India. He was ready to do all that was needed to make this dream a reality, including teaching in English since Sanskrit was known to very few and difficult to learn in a short time. As his first step, Swami Chinmayananda made a plan to conduct a series of lectures in important cities and towns of India. He called it the Gangotri Plan. He decided to call his lectures Jnana Yajna, a term taken from the Bhagavad Gita, to mean an offering of knowledge into the fire of the seeker's heart to purify and elevate him or her. Swamiji held his first Jnana Yajna in Pune, a city of well-educated Hindus. It was planned as a 100-day Upanishad Yajna, beginning with the Kena Upanishad. The first lecture began with a message of blessing from Swami Shivananda that included the words, "Go, roar like Vivekananda." Swamiji's first talk was titled "Let Us Be Hindus." In this talk, he spoke the moral vacuum that Indians had fallen. Despite his frenetic schedule, Swamiji spent time at night or in the pre-dawn hours reading and writing over 100 letters each day. Japa and meditation were taught by Swamiji in simple scientific steps and reinterpreted to suit contemporary needs. He spoke to the Swamiji's first talk was titled "Let Us Be Hindus." In this talk, he spoke of the moral vacuum that Indians had fallen into, unaware of the country's glorious and blindly aping the West. He painted a picture of India as a grand country with a rich culture and sent out an inspiring call to become true Hindus again. This lecture is available at the end of the book as an appendix for those who would like to read the full text. Swamiji's first audience consisted of a mere 7 listeners, but this did not disappoint him at all, as Tapon Maharaj has predicted an even smaller number, saying that philosophy interested very few. Little did anyone imagine then that Swami Chinmayananda would one day address a regular audience of 8 to 10,000 at each lecture. During his first lectures, Swamiji also taught the seekers spiritual disciplines. Continuous chanting of the Lord's name was conducted for 40 days sessions by seekers in relay. Meditation classes were started. Faithful devotees took down Swamiji's speeches and printed them into booklets for free distribution. Messages of blessings arrived from Swami Tapovanam and Swami Shivananda. People felt they were getting something precious that they were hitherto unaware of but desperately needed. They brought more people than where the talks were being held. Gradually, the Brahmin scholars of Pune also lowered their voices of protest, some of them even attending the talks. The 100-day yajna concluded with a Vedic Havan and Home, in which all the devotees, men and women, participated with no caste barriers. Each of them held grain, representing their weaknesses. They circled the fire and then offered the grain, resolving to surrender their negative qualities in the fire of their new-found knowledge, in the true spirit of Jnana Yajna. Surrender and serve. Discover the joy of service by placing at His feet not your achievements but only the sense thereof. It costs you nothing but brings everything. A foundation is laid. Opportunities in life come to every one of us almost all the time. They come in streams, in hosts, and knock at our doors. We are either out or sleeping in. Be awake, be prepared to make use of them. After his first yajna, Swami Chinmayananda went back to Rishikesh to report on it to Swami Shivananda. The senior Swami was very proud of him and encouraged his work as one that India had a great need of. He also advised Swamiji to have shorter yajnas to make them more practical and easy to attain. After Swamiji left, Swami Shivananda said to his students, "There are many disciples here, but none so daring and courageous as Chinmaya." Swami Chinmayananda then went to Uttarkashi to pay his respects to Swami Tapovan Maharaj and to tell him about his plans. The aged sage listened quietly to his students' achievements and was filled with paternal pride. From then on, he always treated his disciple more as a friend than as a student. From Uttarkashi, Swamiji travelled to his family home in Kerala to visit his father. Wherever he went, he spoke to people about organizing yajnas and answered their doubts and queries. Swami Chinmayananda Nanda's 1956 Jnana Yajna being inaugurated by the then President of India, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Swamiji's next stop was Madras, now Chennai, regarded till today as one of the most orthodox and cultured cities of South India. His first step was to locate temple premises for his talks. Even a long and arduous search proved futile because the Brahmins priests strongly disapproved of an English-speaking Swami publicly expounding the much guarded Vedic wisdom. It began to seem that the Madras Yajna would have to be given up. But inscrutable indeed are the ways of God. A Muslim came to Swamiji's rescue. He offered Swamiji's his estate house for the talks. He added that there might be a problem because the place was reputed to be haunted. Swamiji happily accepted his offer, saying that he looked forward to seeing a ghost, a thing he had never seen before. Thus, it came to be that a Hindu sage's first efforts to serve the cause of Hinduism in the south were made possible by a Muslim. Just as it happened at the Puna Yajna, here again the talks began with a very small number of listeners but grew by word of mouth to such large numbers that they had to move to open air seating in the grounds of the bungalow. Here again Swamiji won over many hearts through the clarity of his explanations as well as his dynamic and cheerful manner. Over the next few years, Swami Chinmayananda traveled to many major cities and towns of India, inspiring thousands. In 1956, the Delhi Yajna was inaugurated by the then President of India, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, who was exalted in his praise of Swamiji's noble mission. So logically appealing and universal were Swamiji's talks that they attracted a vast cross section of youngsters, professionals, businessmen and women, scientists, politicians and housewives. To such a predominantly urban and lay audience, Swamiji had the courage and confidence to teach the most subtle scriptural texts like Mandukya Upanishad, which was traditionally expounded only to advanced students of Vedanta. India was sitting up to see thousands of her children get involved in the grand and elevating mission of Swami Chinmayananda to convert Hindus to Hinduism. Swamiji's talks attracted a fair sprinkling of non-Hindu thinkers also. He explained to them that Vedanta was open to all of humanity. It was designed to help each one become a better person irrespective of considerations of age, gender, faith, community, or profession. Swamiji appealed to all to remain in the religion of their birth and use Vedanta along with their faith to grow into finer human beings. A global guru, organizer par excellence, and internationally renowned speaker, Swami Chinmayananda never conducted a talk without first invoking his Guru's grace. The Chinmaya mission is born. We stand as one family, bound to each other with love and respect. We serve as an army, courageous and disciplined, ever ready to fight against all low tendencies and false values within and without us. We live honestly the noble life of sacrifice and service, producing more than what we consume and giving more than what we take. We seek the Lord's grace to keep us on the path of virtue, courage, and wisdom. May Thy grace and blessings flow through us to the world around us. We believe that the service of our country is the service of the Lord of Lords, and devotion to the people is the devotion to the Supreme Self. We know our responsibilities. Give us the ability and courage to fulfill them. Om Tat Sat. This is the Chinmay Mission pledge written by Swami Chinmayananda. As Swamiji's popularity grew all over the country, groups of devotees mushroomed in many cities and towns. They felt the need to organize themselves to continue the study of Vedanta and to initiate cultural and service-based activities right around the year. In 1953, a group from Madras, now Chennai, wrote to Swamiji for his permission. Swamiji approved the idea of an organization, but he did not want it in his name. However, his devotees presented him with the argument that the word Chinmaya also indicated true knowledge. Finally, Swamiji relented About photo, the mountains cradle one of the Chinmay ashrams near the foothills of the Himalayas. The Chinmay mission was born. In time, it would grow into a global spiritual organization with hundreds of study and service units. But the guiding spirit behind the mission was clear even during its inception. In a letter from Swamiji, which reads, "Don't forget that the mission is a family. Act as missionaries, keeping the great goal as your pole star." Swamiji constantly made improvements in his plans of reaching out to the people. From his 13th yajna, he started teaching the Bhagavad Gita, which was to become the most widely heard Hindu scripture in the next 40 years. In today's society, also, we seem to stand in the middle of a battlefield beset with many strains, tensions, and conflicts. Most modern men and women can see Arjun in themselves. And in Lord Krishna, we have a teacher who did not advise his students his duty as a leader dispassionately and to fight injustice and even when wrongdoers were his own cousins and elders. The modern and dynamic but also restrained men and women of this century could certainly gain much from the precious teachings of the Gita. The missing link was a teacher who could interpret the Gita to suit the legal changing society. Swami Chinmayananda served as this missing link. He was steeped in the Rishi culture and Vedic training, but was also able to present the subtle truths of Vedanta in a scientific and logical manner. He could thus inspire and awaken a generation of Indians who had English education and admiration from science and little knowledge of our country culture. While his illustrious student was popularizing spiritual education in the plains of the country, Swami Tapovanam remained in the Himalayas, spending his time in contemplation, writing books on Vedanta, and teaching the few students who came to his humble hermitage. He was aging in grace. Swami Chinmayananda often visited his Guru to pay obeisance. Once, when Tapovan Maharaj fell ill, Swamiji changed his entire schedule to be with his Guru for a month. Tapovan Maharaj, a man of few words, awarded rare praise to Swamiji during this period when he said that taking Vedanta to the hearts of people was the highest service one can do for the fellow men and women. As his Guru weakened in body, Swamiji had to face the fact that physical separation was near. One day, when Swamiji was moved to tears, Tapovan Maharaj told him, "Chinmay, when we are born, death is born with us. Now he is coming to meet me. Hear how quietly I have lived. Now cannot I quietly die hearing the eternal music of my mother Ganga. Don't weep, you go and continue the work." During Swamiji's yajna in Palakkad, Kerala, he received the news that his Guru had attained Mahasamadhi. Tears filled Swamiji's eyes. Great sages are not beyond the touch of human emotions, as we know through instances such as that of Adi Shankaracharya shedding tears over his mother's deathbed. The love between a guru and a student is one of elevating selflessness and purity. It is a divine love with no barriers of ego or expectation. Swamiji came to terms with the greatest loss in his life by remaining in solitary spiritual retreat in Rishikesh for days. Swamiji Tapovanam, Swami Tapovan Maharaj lived a quiet, unobtrusive, unobtrusive obtrusive life, never coming down from the Himalayas, but his picture adorned every stage on which his best students spoke for the next 4 decades in many parts of the globe. It continues to witness the talks of Swamiji's illustrious successors. In 1957, the year 1957 saw the physical death of Swami Tapovan Maharaj, but death is never an end. It was almost as if the spirit of Vedanta had left the physical frame of a realized master to enter the heart of a fledgling spiritual organization, the Chinmay Mission. Fledgling Chinmay spiritual organization, the Chinmay Mission. Hinduism is the religion of the maximums. A Hindu strives to give the maximum happiness to the maximum number for the maximum length of time. He strives to achieve this in whatever purpose or mission in life he is fulfilling. Swami Chinmayananda, in conversation with the world renowned classical singer M.S. Subbalakshmi. Towards greater reach, Vedanta is the art of living and it can be pursued under all circumstances, at all places, whether it be in your own house or in a factory or in the rice field. Swami Chinmayananda had become a national symbol of the Hindu way of life, yet he did not sit back contented. He constantly initiated ways and means to increase the reach of his work. Hundreds of study groups were set up all over the country for people to get together in small batches and study religion in a systematic manner. For devotees in remote areas, Swamiji designed a correspondence course in philosophy. Never before had Hinduism been studied on such a large organized scale. Devi groups were organized for women to take up regular spiritual study and social work. In shaping the thinking of women, Swamiji was assuring a lasting impact on society, for it is true indeed that the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. Swamiji often stressed that the most vital task in the country was to prepare children for their future with a judicious combination of spiritual and secular education. Children's culture classes called Bal Vihars were started all over the country. In time, the Bal Vihars spread all over the world, with some units in America catering to as many as 500 children in each center. Swamiji also initiated the establishment of over 70 Chinmay Vidyalaya schools all over India. They aim at academic excellence supplemented by character formation to create a future generation of Indians with pride in their culture and love for their motherland. The Chinmay Mission also runs as one of its most prestigious projects the Chinmay International Residential School, founded to give the best of academics and Indian culture to the children of the thousands of non-resident Indians who often feel who often fear that their offspring would lose touch with their roots. Swami Chinmayananda was an educationist par excellence, and his philosophy of education is embodied in the Chinmay Vision program that is being incorporated in the Chinmay Vidyalayas as well as scores of other institutions too. Of the youth in the country, Swamiji said, youth are not useless, they are used less. Yuva Kendra groups were organized all over the country for systematic and structured character building and personality development in youth. This was achieved through spiritual study, cultural programs, social service projects, and youth camps, seminars, and conferences. Social service activities in areas of urgent need are encouraged. In 1965, during the Indo-Pak War, the Chinmay Mission made huge collections in cash and kind for the war effort in many flood or famine hit areas. Mission service units work with the government to provide relief to the suffering. Swamiji's next task was to establish an institution where young men and women would be trained to teach the Hindu scriptures in society and complement and continue Swamiji's cause. On April 11, 1963, a Vedanta University, the Sandipani Sadhanalaya, was opened. It was named after Lord Krishna's Guru Rishi Sandipani in the hope that it would also produce many more global teachers in the footsteps of the great teacher of the Gita. Batches of students live here with a senior Swami as they would in a Gurukul, as per the ancient tradition of imparting knowledge. No fee is collected from them. They learn the scriptures, meditation, and all that is needed to become torch bearers of Hinduism. It is a life of celibacy and arduous discipline, and yet a joyous one in the love of and care of a revered spiritual master. Gradually, the new ashram grew, and a temple, the Jagadishwar temple, and a streamlined administration. This was the first of many such ashrams, modern day Gurukulas, producing men and women of inspiration and dedication. The integration and unification of the various sects and branches of Hinduism was another onerous task that Swamiji plunged into. In 1963, he convened a council with delegates from all over the world to meet and discuss the Hindu Renaissance. From such efforts emerged institutions and organizations set up to strengthen the Hindu brethren the world over and to spread traditional values. Towards national integration. It is vain to waste one's time considering which God to worship. Worship Him in any form. It is the sincerity of devotion that matters. Swami Chinmayananda was slowly but surely growing to occupy the status of a spiritual captain, commandeering the ship of Hinduism towards greater global relevance. Some of the achievements of Swami Chinmayananda, which made him an Indian spiritual leader of global fame, are worth looking at for their positive and long standing impact on national integration. About photo, a moment of blessing. At a time when India was young, in her freedom and at a loose end culturally, Swamiji introduced a universal teaching of his teaching to his fellow men and women that could give them a pride in their culture and joy in living. At a time when India had been divided into several states based on language, Swamiji taught Indians their philosophy in the only common language, that is, that the educated used then English. Today, the Chinmay Mission has ashrams in several states of India to teach the scriptures in many languages including Hindi, Gujarati, Tamil, Kannada, Telugu, Marathi, Malayalam, Bengali, Odia and so on. At a time when the powerful and elevating truths of our religion were in the tight grip of the secretive priest class, Swamiji had the courage to defy them and open up the teaching to all without any consideration of differences. When casteism was still influencing even the educated elite of India, Swamiji taught people to love one another without any barriers. Everyone who came to him, whatever be his or her caste, was allowed to participate in all that Swamiji taught, including study of the scriptures, rituals, Vedic chanting, meditation, and service. Swamiji taught his students to see through the eyes of love. This extended to women also, at a time when in India even educated women had to live with far greater restrictions than men. Swamiji encouraged women to involve themselves in all spiritual activities, including the study of Vedanta and Vedic chanting. His devotees, whether they were men or women. In this aspect, Swamiji stands out as one of the greatest spiritual emancipators of women in modern India. The mission of Swamiji's life gained momentum during a social period when joint families were breaking down. The children of Bharat were caught between ancient traditions which they did not know the significance of, and Western fads which again they did not understand but found attractive. About photo. An enduring friendship, Swami Chinmayananda with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, head of the Tibetan Buddhist order. Swami, at such a time when a whole young generation of Indians were thus floundering, Swamiji started hundreds of schools and balvihars all over the country. Here, children were taught more about the glory of their religion, the true meaning of patriotism, and the finer values of life. Till today, these educational institutions and classes keep up the nation building task of molding children into adults with a vision. India has had a long history of religion based violence, often due to an unholy alliance between politics and religion. From time immemorial, India has been the house of people from almost every path, every faith in the world, Christianity, Islam, Zoroastrianism, and even several smaller religious groups like the Baha'is. Every faith has its subdivisions. Swami Chinmayananda possessed a truly global vision. He is seen here with the world leaders of fellow faiths. This often clashes within a faith also. Swamiji realized that India was secular but in name and not in spirit. He felt that the best way to foster respect for all religions was for the leaders of various faiths to publicly demonstrate their respect for each other and work for a truly secular India. In 1978, Swamiji met His Holiness the Dalai Lama, head of the Buddhist order. In the course of friendly discussions, Swamiji invited him to inaugurate a Hindu conference attended by delegates from all over the world. One of Swamiji's yajnas in Bombay was inaugurated by Valerian Cardinal Gracious, a renowned Christian religious figure at the time. Swamiji regularly met religious leaders and maintained a lifelong association with many of them. Swamiji often visited renowned Hindu religious leaders to pay them his respects and set an example of unity among the various Hindu religious subdivisions. In 1975, he visited the Shankaracharya of Sringeri, Sri Abhinav Vidyatirtha Mahaswamigal. He would occasionally call on the Shankaracharya of Kanchi, Sri Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Swamigal. In 1973, he invited Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba to preside over the inauguration of the National Yajna of Chinmay Mission in Bangalore. He told his devotees to see the love that Sai Baba had for the people and try to feel in their hearts more and more of such pure love. In 1979, Swamiji addressed the devotees of Anandamayi Ma during her 83rd birthday celebrations in Bangalore. Many of Mata Anandamayi, Amrutanandamayi Ma's disciples completed their scriptural studies in the Chinmay Mission ashrams. Swamiji was sure that the only path towards a truly secular India was for each Indian to be steadfast to his or her own religion and at the same time be loving and respectful to fellow Indians. Whatever be their background, to Swamiji, this was the highest form of patriotism. You have two eyes but one vision. Two eyes are two, the eyes are two, but the light of that emanates from them both is one vision.